I around and found out. 5 years ago, I had an experience that radically changed my life. What we call psychosis is often a spiritual event Western cultures don't understand. I know because I went through it. I didn't awaken through peace, I awoken through collapse, through mental breakdown. At my darkest moment when all hope was lost, I did a mega dose of acid and awoke the Kundalini shock energy at the base of my spine. What the... Yo... There's an ancient concept from the East, Kundalini. It's said to be a serpent-like energy coiled at the base of your spine, and when it awakens, it rises like a snake through your nervous system, burning through illusion, tearing through ego, and showing you what's real. And in Abrahamic religion, there's a serpent in the Garden of Eden, often seen as the devil, but I believe that to be misunderstood. And hear me out. Here, let me take your lens of reality off. Alright, it's time to wake up. The Garden of Eden might have not been paradise. It might have been ignorance. And as they say, ignorance is bliss. Eve, the feminine principle, meets the serpent. She's told, eat this and you'll become like the gods. You'll see good and evil. That's not sin. That's awakening. The serpent has always been a symbol of transformation. In Eastern traditions, it's Kundalini, the divine feminine coiled and waiting to rise. So maybe the garden wasn't lost, maybe it was left because Eve saw the truth. She awakened and while we see endless suffering brought from it, the reality is enlightenment isn't sunshine and roses.
This is blasphemy. You'll burn in hell for your sins.
Well, I guess they don't call it a live studio audience for nothing. Anyways, each spotlight is a belief system, a way of seeing the world. So we have Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, Judaism, science, philosophy, mysticism, psychology, psychedelics. Now all 10 are lit. What do we see? The truth. Not one of them holds the whole truth alone, but each one contributes, each one outlines a piece of the circle. So before you cry blasphemy or bias,
Son, you know once you start, there's no going back.
I know.
This means total commitment. Once you begin the path, there is no leaving the path. Are you sure you're ready for that?
you thought a spiritual awakening was supposed to be bliss. Well, you're mistaken. You don't awaken by basking in the light. You awake by watching everything you thought you were die. You want the truth, right? Then you deserve to know the risk. The path isn't safe, it's not clean, it's not gentle. Spiritual awakening sounds poetic in the books, but in the real world, it will break you over and over again. And just when you pick up the pieces, it's time to shatter again. 5 years ago, I was anorexic, and I was about to myself. Locked in a windowless room, too anxious to even use the bathroom, so I pissed in bottles for months. Now I'm in good shape and I've been traveling the world for about half a year. Sounds great, right? But don't let the highlight reel fool you. This path is not for the faint of heart. You'll experience trial by fire, death and rebirth, and once it's started, you can't stop it. This isn't just some we're all stuck in the Matrix rant, okay? You don't need a spiritual awakening to see we're forced to work or die. No, this is deeper. This is seeing through yourself, people, and through reality itself. Every layer you pull back, there's just another layer. So I met a girl recently, and we've only been talking for a month, but I've never connected with someone like that before. We both had a list of what we were looking for in a partner, and we matched each other's oddly specific list. Emotionally, spiritually, mentally, it was rare. But as time went on, the cracks began to show. Nothing dramatic, just subtle undertones, shifts in energy, and I felt it, I knew. So I made the decision to end it. I called her, no answer. So I texted, call me back when you see this. As I'm holding my phone, music playing in the background, then right as the chorus hits, it ends tonight, my phone lights up. She texts back, I'll call soon when I get home. And in that moment I knew, this is the end. She called, we spoke, it ended. Just like that, exactly a month after it started. But in that short time, she unearthed layers of childhood trauma I didn't even realize I was still carrying, and I processed it for the most part. She wasn't a mistake, she was a lesson, a reflection, and as I'm writing the story and the script, guess what song came on again? It Ends Tonight. Same song, same timing again. And then almost as if we really wanted to put a bow on it, When the Morning Comes started playing. One of the 2 songs I ever added from her recommendations. And hear me out, I have 2,481 songs in my library. Those 2 in a row? Call it a coincidence if you'd like, but honestly, this happens regularly to me, or we could call it what it really is. Divine orchestration. Oh, and one more thing. I was introduced to her through a guy doing a 30-day fast for spiritual reasons. I know you'll be watching this, so thanks, homie. Now these lessons, they're for one reason and one reason only. ego death, the loss of the false identity, not the aesthetic kind they talk about on social media, not the kind where you let go of your ego and still post about it the next day. I'm talking about real ego death, where the story you've clung to, who you are, and what you want, what you believe, your trauma, your perspective, it burns to ash. And all that is left is an essence, and non-resistance to reality. The moment no thought, no emotional turmoil, and just the flow of reality. And that's when it hits you. You were never that story. You're just watching it. Alright, show's over. Time to turn on, tune in, and drop out. And this is where you start getting detached from the world. Alienation is a natural part of the process because the truth is most people won't even glimpse what you've seen, let alone understand it. You'll find yourself surrounded by egoic masks, and I won't lie, witnessing it is really disturbing, so much so it can feel unbearable just to be in the presence of it. People trapped in layers masking their true beauty, blind to themselves, blind to reality. And as much as you might wish you could go back to the comfort of ignorance, it's too late. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, there's no going back. And then you have the death of desire. When the ego starts to crumble, so does desire. The need for power, the craving for money, the chase for validation, status, legacy, recognition, you call it. All of it starts to fade. You stop wanting what the world told you to want. You stop playing the game. And in this world, those who don't play the game, they often end up at the bottom. No career, no plan, no safety net, just you staring into the void wondering what the hell happens next. You're not lazy, you're not broken, you've just seen through it. But the system doesn't care. It will punish you for not desiring what it offers. This is where many lose their footing because truth doesn't pay the rent and freedom doesn't come with a 401k.
Coming to bed, honey?
Yes, dear.
And I'm not saying I'm enlightened, I'm very much still on this path. Everything that once gave you a sense of self begins to fall away. You'll lose many friends, relationships, your career, even your sense of purpose. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because your old world can't follow you into the new one. It's not destruction, it's purification. Your heart doesn't just open, it floods. You feel the pain of humanity like it's your own because in a way it is. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm kinda broke, okay? But I still give money to the homeless because I'm not hungry, but they are. You see people clinging to illusions, and all you want to do is help, but you quickly learn not everyone wants to be saved. You try to walk people through hell to get them to heaven, but all they see is someone walking them through hell. You become a mirror, you come to find many hate their own reflection.
The world is going to hell, and nothing is ever fair.
Have you ever considered looking out your window? The ego doesn't always die. Sometimes it just changes clothes. It trades I'm better because I'm rich for I'm better because I'm spiritual. You become more intuitive, more aware. Maybe people start listening to you. Maybe you start knowing things. And instead of dissolving the ego, it mutates, it evolves. It says, I'm enlightened. I'm above them. They don't get it, but I do. And that's the trap. Spiritual ego feels righteous. It dresses itself in light while quietly anchoring you in darkness. Because now your identity is still rooted in separation, still rooted in self, still rooted in needing to be someone. Real awakening, it's not about becoming someone who knows more. It's about going until all the layers are gone. And what do you find? Nothing. No one. The truth. And if this went over your head, this video right here will connect the rest of the dots.